everyone. I just finished up making this beautiful Minky Pullover top, and I'd like to invite you to come on in. I'll show you exactly how I made it. Hello everyone, I'm Renee and you're watching Island House Handmade. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. This is the first sewing show of 2026 and I'm so excited. I just went to Hobby Lobby and bought this beautiful eucalyptus minky fabric to make a pullover top. This fabric just matches the island scenery so good right now and I cannot wait to make this. Don't forget, join the channel by subscribing and hit the like button. I can't wait to show you how this turns out. All right, now for this pattern, in this envelope is only the extra small, small, and medium. For this pullover top, the suggested fabrics are stretch knits, sweater knit, fleece, sweatshirt fleece, French terry. The sizes are extra small, small, medium. Here they'll give the bust, waist, and hip measurement. Top A, top B, top C, and top D. These are all the versions depending on what you're making. Down here at the bottom is the finished garment measurement. So whatever your size is that you're making, go down the column and it'll tell you the finished measurement of the bust. Okay, so for top C, it's giving me the pieces that I need, 1, 3, 5, 6, 10, and 11. It's showing me the cutting layout. This is the fold. Here's your selvage. I'll give a quick press. Then the other. I want to fold on both edges, so I folded the fabric in this way and then I folded this side in this way. So I have my front on fold, back on fold, cuff right in the middle. It fit perfectly to the selvage. I have my sleeve, which is cut 2. Always follow the grain. I have my collar pieces. They're calling it a yoke, but it's a yoke collar. And you follow the grain line. This is cut 4. So I will have 2 here, and when I finish cutting, I will have 2 here. Keep in mind, I'm using Minky fabric. That means this has a nap. The nap is that furry, plush direction of the fabric. So you want to cut nap down so when you touch it, it feels soft. Cutting out the interfacing, I'm using Pellon. This is for the collar yoke only. We're ready to sew, and sewing is a series of steps, so follow your instructions step by step. The first step in the process is the center back of the collar at the seam. We'll sew both with right sides together. The inside, this is the parts that we fused, and then the exterior along the shoulder seam. So this is the edge where the collar is, and you will sew these two face to face. So your collar edge is the half moon round portion, which is here. These get sewn together. After you stitch the front edge of the collar, you need to trim down seam allowance to approximately 3/8. This will reduce the bulk when turning the collar. Now that the collar edge is stitched, and you can see this is the center back neck seam, so essentially it'll go on like this. This will cross over, and this is the outer edge of the collar. If you do a back stitch, it'll make the collar look so much more professional. The roll will be perfect. You'll see the edge of the collar here. This is what we were just talking about. You want to put a back stitch on the inside, and it'll just hold it out perfectly. There's the side without fusing and the side with fusing. You want the stitches pressed to the side, stitched to the fusing side. You can see just how beautifully it rolls right to the edge, and just give it a press. Now here is the front. This is the space for the collar yoke to sit in. I have my collar all set up, as you can see. The stitch that I made, because once this folds over, it's going to hide that. So now, here we are again on this side. The side with the fusible will sew into the seam along the edge, right sides together. So I'm going to pin these just to show you. This essentially is making the remainder of the shoulder seam. This is the seam here. What comes next is the overlap, and then you have to sew it together down here at the bottom. We'll sandwich it. Pro tip to make your collar roll perfect. Sew the seam allowances on the inside of the collar with a 1-inch stay stitch. This will keep your collar together, and it will roll really nice. Here's the collar. It overlaps in the front. Here's what it looks like on the inside. You could just do marrow and marrow and marrow. The one thing you do need to do is clip a corner on each side of the yoke here, so that you can sew the yoke together and have a nice clean corner. You put the needle in, and then you go around. the bottom. Everything's sewn flat, and then I went ahead and used the overlock just to finish off that front seam. So this is what it looks like on the front. Now we sew along the shoulder seams and the back neck. So take your back and put right sides together. And here's your shoulder seam on your back, and then your back neckline, and then this shoulder seam. So you can start at one side and then move along. Then you'll pivot, sew along the back neckline, and then sew along your shoulder seam. Here's the clip and here's the corner. You want to pivot and catch it Here's your center back seam. Shoulder, back neck, shoulder. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, here's the shoulder. Here's that intersection where we pivoted. Here's your back neckline. Here's the other shoulder seam, that nice corner right here where we did the pivot. Marrow all this clean, press it flat, and then I can marrow together at the back shoulder seam and all along the back neckline. All the layers, if you can see on the inside, I did an overlock along the seams, the shoulder seam and the back neckline. And I pressed it really well. As I like to set my sleeves on like this, open. Match the notches. So 2 notches are for the back, and then put a clip. Sleeve cap to the sleeve seam. Then, matching my notches again, here's the front notches, and then sew all along. This makes it really easy to set in a sleeve, and this is how we did it in the factory where I worked. So set up both sleeves and then sew along the top of the cap. Now the sleeve cuffs, you fold to make a tube like this, and you sew, and I have my marrow already set up. These cuffs just fold out like this. You can baste the top together. And when we're done with the sleeve, we'll attach the cuff and this shirt will be finished. These are the sleeve seams. I'll overlock the seam allowance and trim it down. Press it really nice. Match your sleeve underarm seam with the seam at the bottom. This is the sleeve inseam. And then this is the side seam on the body. In one stitch, you will sew along the entire sleeve and side seam. Down to the final 2 steps, setting the cuff and hemming. The instructions advise the cuff inside. This is how I like to do the cuff. And I like to match the sleeve inseams. You could see that the sleeve is a lot wider than this cuff. The instructions advise to stretch the cuff onto the sleeve. However, my fabric is not stretchy enough. I'll add a few little pleats on the out sleeve. I have Minky fabric. It's different than what the suggested fabrics were. I don't have a lot of stretch to play with as I would with a knit, but I'll do my best to stretch as good as possible, and then with the leftover I'll add 3 little baby pleats maybe at the out sleeve, so out here, so you'll see it when I wear it. Let's see how this turns out. Final step together. Bend back a hem. I have about 3/4 of an inch. I've pinned it nicely. I'm heading over to the sewing machine to give my final top stitch. Well, I finished, and I love it. This top is so cozy and comfortable and just perfect for the month of January. I'm gonna be warm and cozy, snuggling up, wearing this one. The pattern was great. I cut a medium, and if I were to make it again, I would make the small. I think the pattern was true to size, and it's very comfortable. I definitely would recommend making this one. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that I inspired you to have a creative day. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye for now.